Okay. Assalamu alaikum, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of this Islamic Journey show, where we get to talk to wonderful people on their journey into Islam. Today, we are pleased to have Sister Rashida, and see if I can put in display the names in here. There we go. She's also known as Optimist Rashida. If you have been watching me, she's been on my Zoom for the Islamic program. She's been on the Do We Really Know These People? And then she's also been on the singing show recently. So she's just been a wonderful person, wonderful supporter, and willing to bring her journey. How are you today?
I am great, Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum, my brother.
Wa alaikum salam, and welcome to the program. Yes, let's go ahead and start with the beginning of your journey. Tell us a little bit of your upbringing. I don't know if you want to bring any memories of that. Were you were born into an Islam, or were you not born into Islam in the beginning?
Yes, I was born Muslim, as all my siblings were. But growing up, we didn't have the greatest memories of learning about Islam because our father, uh, I don't know why, he had the notion that he had to beat us into submission,
Oh,
and we didn't learn it properly because of that until our adult lives. And now we're trying to pick up the pieces, which is a lot harder than when you're a toddler and you're taught the right way, the
so
gentle way, the
oh,
merciful way.
wow. So you're saying that your father kind of forced you into religion? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, all of
Oh, I
us.
see. So that how many siblings were you?
I
Like
was the eldest of four.
four. Okay, and so all of you were raised and treated the same way. You would say, right?
Hmm. Some worse than others, but
Uh,
none of us proper, put it that way.
so in terms of we're talking about more of the Islam, not about the treatment of that. But how in terms of were you guys like doing the prayers? Where he's like saying, okay, you have to do the prayers, or I'll punish you. How was that? How was the prayers in terms
It
of that?
wasn't even that far about prayers yet because at that time my father wasn't even praying until in my adult life later I got him to go back to praying or start praying for that matter. But little things like at school they would have pizza for lunch if it had pork on it. Oh, you're not to eat that item because it has pork. Well, if there's nothing else to eat out of starvation, we would have eaten it because we didn't want to die from starving, but he would beat us and some other things from a consequence of eating that pork, for example.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Well, so were you were born here, right? You were born in America.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
And so tell us your first encounter of Islam. Like I know from your like, did you go to Sunday school? Is it from at home? Yeah, we'll start with that. How was your first encounter with Islam?
Well, I always knew Allah, and I that's the only word in Arabic that I can read. Like I'll recognize like by your hand it symbolizes like when you write Allah in Arabic.
Yeah,
But just to see that word on a page, that's the only one I could read because I was illiterate at the time as a child.
yeah.
I would say about 12 years old, I was illiterate. The only word I would know is Allah. So I
Uh-huh.
knew Allah exists. That's all I knew.
Amazing, amazing. How did you come? Like, did you hear it from your parents or from your dad? He said
From my
that, or
dad. Yeah, from
they
my
say
dad.
that, so you knew that existed. That's good
Mhm.
to have that upbringing in terms of saying remembering Allah and all that. And maybe you also know this, but then our symbol, our hand has the Allah symbol. You probably hear that. So
Yes.
that's something that growing up I learned. I, for me, interestingly enough, our parents wanted us to learn because they never had that. We had the simple background. They took us to a Sunday school kind of thing. So at 12 years old, you knew Allah, and you heard it about that, but you didn't know really much about what Islam is. Tell us a little bit. And is your mom Muslim, by the way?
Not right now,
At
but
that
I
point, at that point in the beginning, before when you were 12.
she was forced into it by the abuse part of it.
Oh, I see. So your mom was forced into that. I see. Okay.
Mhm.
Did you go into any Sunday school or any
Yes.
Islamic school? You
Starting
were
at age 16, I went to Sunday school and it was only just once every Sunday. And I didn't understand anything we were reading or writing or anything except for if I sounded it out phonetically. Like, for example, Bismillah. I have to say B-I and then a hyphen,
hmm
S-M-E hyphen Leh. and I sounded out that way. What looks like English, but I'm saying it in Arabic. That's the way I learned the first two surahs the only two surahs I know right now.
Hmm.
And I learned to try to do my prayers. I learned 99 names of Allah. I don't memorize all of them, but I learned of them, put it that way. And
Ah,
fasting and all the stuff that you're supposed to do, zakat, sadaqah, all this stuff. And then I told my dad about it. I was like, hey, you know what? You're not doing most of this stuff either. Maybe we'll learn together. And we went from there.
so at that age, at 16, you went into the school. Who took you to the school?
My father and my stepmother at the time.
They wanted you to learn and go there. And so you learning the names of God and then learning about all these, and you saw how your father was, and you wanted to implement that in his life as well, basically.
Yes, to be like, hey, I know you're not doing things perfectly according to the Sunnah, but I want you to learn and be better and improve yourself. Just like even I'm 16 years old and I'm trying to be better, you can be better too. But he didn't stay on the path of Sunnah as much as he could.
Hmm.
He got caught up in this worldly stuff like um, children out of wedlock, girlfriends along the way after he cheated on my mother,
Hmm.
a lot of stuff that haram, okay?
Yeah.
And I tried to change him from that, but he don't want to change, so I got away from him.
Got it. Yeah, and then you got to do what you got to do. Alhamdulillah. But yeah, that's maybe a lesson or a test and a learning curve that went through. So you're 16. So you're in high school at that age, right? High school.
Yes.
And then so you been there. So that was you would you go to Sunday school every week? It was a
Yes,
weekly.
every week.
And how did you feel about going taking classes in Sunday school? Like, did they were they fun? Did you enjoy it?
It was challenging because I didn't know the language, and even one time I felt embarrassed because
Mhm.
we had to do like a writing of a certain part of the Quran, and
Yeah.
I didn't write it. I honestly, I admit, I traced over it through a see-through paper and traced it, and I handed it in. I didn't know what in the world was on that paper. I just traced it. I don't know
Oh.
what I was reading or writing or anything. And
Mhm.
the girl seated behind me, she said, "She didn't do that. She copied it."
Mhm.
Technically, I kind of did, but I felt bad about it, and I was like, "No, I didn't." And then the teacher told us both. She was like, "Shh," and
Oh.
like stop that nonsense or whatever. But she had a point that I didn't even know the language.
Mm. I see. So, would you say at that point were you guys culturally Muslim? Uh,
Kind
I,
of yes, kind of no, because we were still in the westernized world of like American society.
yeah.
But we had like maybe two other Muslims in the whole neighborhood that we were in our
Yeah.
block. And one girl I went to school with, she helped me. I remember to this day, subhanallah, I was in Spanish class. I was helping her with our Spanish homework, and she was helping teaching me Arabic
Oh wow. This is in high school.
in high school.
Oh wow. I mean, so you kind of knew what the fasting was, what the prayer was. You were
Hmm.
forced from your father to do these things, but he wasn't really implementing and doing those things. And then you went to Sunday school, and you were wondering why he wasn't doing it. You were trying to push on him.
Hmm.
Um, let's go to high school. So you finished high school. How was life Islamically after high school? Did you go to college, and how was life then?
I did go to college, but before that, 2001, I was still in high school, and that's when 9/11 happened. And the town that I was in at the time is called Defuniak Springs. It was like a small dot on the map, if you can even find it.
How,
And I
what's
was
the
the
population on that city? Do you remember, Rashida?
I don't remember the population, but I do know this.
Yeah.
In the high school, there was one high school. It was a senior high school, as they called it,
Yeah.
and I was the only Muslim in that whole high school.
Oh
Can you
wow.
imagine
Wow.
the backlash and ridicule and bullying and all after 9/11?
Oh wow. Wow. So you at that point you would tell people in your school you're a Muslim kind of thing,
Mhm.
right? You would
They
tell
knew
people.
it. Obviously, look at my name. That alone, never mind they'll see me like praying or if I had the hijab or this or that. I didn't wear it all the time, but once in a while I did, and they'd be like, "Why do you have to wear that?
Uh-huh.
Why do you have to even question me? I don't ask you about your faith. Leave it alone."
So you were actually in high school. You were wearing the hijab. So you would wear those sometimes. You said.
sometimes, not all the time, but more so I would like wear a hoodie and like make that my hijab kind of thing. It
Yeah,
was I was transitioning to try to be comfortable with it
yeah.
in a school where they won't let you be comfortable. They bully you, they ridicule you, they question you. 9/11 really made it tough on Muslims in this country.
Mm. Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I was in high school. I was 16 when that happened, but we weren't really too practicing at the time. My mom would pray, or we would do Ramadan. It's important. We weren't really abusive anybody in the family. Just the regular stuff. If you do a mistake, they get upset. That kind of stuff. It wasn't like that. And thank God, alhamdulillah, they've been together for maybe 40 years.
Sure.
But we didn't really grow up really too religious. And so 9/11 happened. My parents were like, "Shh, just don't say anything. Just say quiet. Don't wanna. Nobody really. We didn't really pray. We didn't do any of that. We didn't go to Juma, any of that back in like forgot what it was, 20 years ago, 24 years ago now, or 25 years ago, right? So it's kind of like that. So, but you were practicing, and you kind of practicing. You knew what Allah was. Did you know any of the six pillars of faith? What they were? Um, the Qadr, the Allah, the hell, heaven and hell. Did you know what these are? The six pillars of Iman at that point. Did you know
I
what they were?
don't think I knew all of them, but I
Yeah,
was starting to learn. I knew that at least once in your lifetime, hopefully, inshallah, if you're able, you have to do the Hajj, the
yeah,
pilgrimage.
uh huh,
You have to do the zakat at the end of Ramadan.
yeah,
Sadaqah, that's all year long, whenever you can, to whoever you can.
yeah,
Um, the praying, the fasting. Like I started learning about it, and I started teaching myself, or I would say training my body to
yeah.
get used to the fasting. And I remember I was in college at the time in 2003, and I had snuck these little candies with me, like Snickers or whatever. And I was just trying to discreetly eat one to break my fast. And thankfully, the teacher was nice and didn't question me, but I was being discreet. I wasn't trying to chew noisily, wasn't trying to leave my trash all over the classroom. Just
Yeah,
do that and carry on with my lesson. And
yeah.
that's when I started to try to fast.
I see. And so that was you said in college at that time.
Mhm,
That's when you
mhm.
started to do that.
Yep.
Interesting. So and before that, you never tried to fast at all.
One
Before
or
that.
one or two other times when I was, like, 16, and but I couldn't finish it. I remember telling my mom, "Mom, please pull over to the 7-Eleven. I need a muffin, a Sprite, something, like, I'm too shaky, too weak, I can't do it. I'm sorry I tried, but I can't do it." She's like, "Don't be sorry, baby. You can't do it, you can't do it. You're just
Yeah.
practicing, remember?" She was a little
Interesting.
more gentle and merciful about it than my father,
Oh, okay,
you know?
okay. But you knew that how why you knew why people would fast at that point,
Yeah,
kind of,
yes, of
and
course.
you wanted to try it, kind of thing.
Mhm,
Interesting, interesting. Yeah, for us, we really implemented the fasting. Like fasting was important. At 16, we started at 15. You had to fast. Like that's something important. But the
mhm.
prayer not as much. Like it was important, but nobody really prayed. But now like everybody in my family prays. It's a complete opposite. Alhamdulillah. So okay, that was in college. You started to fast a bit, kind of thing, and then let's fast forward a bit and see. You maybe finished college, or how was Islam during college times? Did you decide to gain knowledge? Did you learn more stuff compared to when you were in Sunday school? And then now, I guess we can say in college, were you at home living still, or did you move out?
I was still living with my dad and my stepmom at the time, and
Mhm.
I would go part-time during the day, college hours, but it wasn't like a certain area of study. I didn't have a major or anything yet. I
Yeah.
was just doing my 2 years of, like, prerequisites and getting those out
Yes.
of the way.
Yeah.
That's what my guidance counselor did to give me time
Yeah.
as a student to learn what I was interested in, what I might want a career path in, instead of being forced into something that I'm gonna hate.
Absolutely. Did you in college take any Islamic classes, or did you have any Muslim student friends that you met there in
They
college?
didn't offer any, Muslim classes at the time, as far as I was aware, and
Yeah.
the one student that was in high school with me, her family moved back to Yemen, so I
Okay.
didn't really have any other Muslim folks in my community at that time, after that.
Oh, I see. So in college, were you practicing? Were you connecting with God, continuing your prayers or fasting when you were in college? You're taking classes. You're still at home. How did that go?
What I would do is at that time, I didn't know that there was prescribed times of the 5 daily prayers, but I knew that you had to pray. So
I
I
see.
would start and you're gonna laugh at this. I would start sitting at the corner of my bed and raise my hands in dua, and I thought I was praying, but I
Oh,
learned later that it was a little more involved than that. You know, the
interesting.
real salah.
That that's I kind of had the same similar like that. I mean, I had some weird memories. Continue, yeah, please.
But my hands raised in dua, and I thought I was praying. I was like, "Please, Allah, help us, meet our survival needs, financial needs, housing, all the stuff that we usually pray for, good health, so on and so forth." And I said, "Ameen" at the end. I say my Fatiha Surah, my Ikhlas Surah. That's all I knew. And then I went on my day, and I do it again before I went to bed. That's all I knew at the time. But I was like, I'm trying.
Amazing. Well, at least you knew that the dua, that's a good thing. You started with that.
Hmm.
We had none of that. I actually thought that the strict Muslims were the Shia sect. I thought they were actually Orthodox in the beginning. So, because we were, I knew Salam Alaikum, we knew all that, but my parents wanted us to learn in Sunday school. So we took some classes in that. But then we studied ourselves and we wanted to find out what this was, kind of thing. So, um, but so you were making these du'as. You knew about that. You knew these short surah, the Fatiha, Ikhlas, Surah 113, 112, 114, the last four, which are very important to read every night. The Prophet would read them and then wipe his face and all that. And
Hmm. Hmm.
they usually help with diseases or curing stuff like that. They're recommended. That's good. You knew that. How did you, was that from Sunday school where you learned about these surah or from your father?
Well, neither actually. Remember my friend from high school?
The Yemeni one. Uh-huh.
When I was teaching her Spanish and English in our Spanish class, she was teaching me phonetically how to say each word in those surahs. And we kept doing that every day. As
Uh-huh.
long as we were in that Spanish class together, we did that every day. And
Uh-huh.
I helped her with our projects and stuff like Spanish projects and all that. I helped
Yeah.
her with that, and she helped me with learning these surahs. Um, God bless her, Allah bless her wherever she is now, probably in Yemen still, because if it wasn't for her mercy, patience, kindness, and sisterhood, I probably wouldn't have learned them as easily as I
Yeah.
did
Amazing. Okay, so you have somebody here who was from Yemen and was with you in high school, right? High school?
in high school.
And
Yes.
she was teaching you how to do that, and she was kind of giving you some kind of dawah, some kind of invitation, and teaching you something like that unannounced. You didn't really know. You were helping her with Spanish, and she was helping you with this. Um, and that's amazing to have that kind of friend. Maybe may God reunite you together. Maybe you'll find each other somehow. But yeah, in general, from my experience, Yemeni people are very nice people that I met. They're very open-minded. They're very humble people, wonderful people, and may God save help them now. With the things going on there, and hopefully she's still around and still remembers you. And maybe if she can watch this, Optimist Rashida is on LinkedIn. You can go ahead and you remember her name, by the way, your friend
Mona,
Mona.
Mona.
Okay, maybe you can somehow. Interesting. So she would be, the guidance for you, and may God reward her because she helped you with
Hmm.
that and all the journeys. And whatever you teach to people, you'll be guided, and she'll be guided because she is the reason or the sabab, right? The sabab is the reason, right?
Hmm.
For that. So that's amazing. Okay, so that is what. So now you're in college. What year is this now? You're in college.
College was 2003. When I
2003.
was learning with Mona in high school, there was 2000, 2001. But
Okay.
she left, her family left and went back to Yemen. After that, 9/11 happened, and then the bullying and all that started.
Oh, and that happened in college or high school, the bullying?
High school in
High
2001.
school. And then you graduated, then you went to college.
Hmm.
In college,
2003.
there was like nobody really there to help you or kind of yourself. It was a
Hmm.
small college. What college did you go to, by the way? What was
At the time, they changed names now, but at the time it was called Okaloosa Walton Community College.
Oh, okay.
Now they just say, uh, something community college, like
Oh,
they shorten the name. Like a lot has changed since then. If I can get my transcript, I'm lucky. I might not even be able to do that.
oh, wow, wow. So, okay. So, when did you? How was life in college? A little bit in terms of Islam. I know we talked a little bit about that.
It was basically that I had to discipline myself and just keep myself trying. Any little effort mattered, and that, like, if I didn't try, the result would be zero. If
Hmm.
I tried, there's a chance I might eventually succeed. Keep persevering, keep praying, keep trying, and then improve upon myself little by little. And that's what I kept doing. But I kept my studies, my main focus was my studies. And Allah knew that. He knew I was a student and I was trying to make good grades, trying to keep my scholarships and all that. And I did to a certain point until family issues came in, and I had to pause college for a while. But later on, about I would say 15 years later, I went back and I went to IT school this time.
Oh wow. Okay, interesting. So, but then let's more talk about the journey. I know you also mentioned something about you became a Christian kind of thing, right?
Not that I became a Christian, but I considered
Considered.
becoming one. I thought
Okay.
about leaving Islam. And
When?
I look back now
Yeah.
and I admit that was only for one reason. And I'm glad I didn't um, embrace that reason, put it that way.
Uh huh.
Because many of the memories that I had of being forced into Islam by my father
Yeah.
was abusive manners, abusive ways of doing it, not the sunnah and halal ways of doing it, if you know what I mean.
Mm.
And I would always have the painful memories that came up of those instances every time I would try to return back to Islam, whether I was doing my prayers, reading a surah,
I see.
whatever,
Yeah.
especially in prayers. And
Yeah.
you know, as well as I do, when you're praying, you're not supposed to be distracted. Your mind is supposed to be on Allah, not
Right.
about some painful memory from before. So I was
Correct.
like, it's too painful. I'm going to leave Islam.
Oh
But I
wow.
didn't. I didn't.
Hmm.
I
So
stayed.
the trauma. So the trauma from that. That's yeah. The trauma of you praying. You remember your dad and that, and then you were thought about that. Why Christianity? Because you. It's always about the manners, right? It's about how you're treated. And so I always say this to myself that because we have, I can also say millions of times where I've been treated bad by Muslims the way they've been treated, and I always think to myself, if Islam wasn't right, I would leave. Same thing. Even in the past, but then it's really real, and I've seen stories of many people that I know who reverted. They were Christians. They're back to Christians now. I mean, they were 3 4 years. They became Muslims, going to the mosque every day, praying all the time, and then now, no, they just converted back. And recent people, it really depends. It has to do with the environment. It always has to do with how you're treated, the trauma that goes on, who treats you. That's the number one thing. If people are following the truth in Islam, and whatever it is. I have a friend of mine. He's in North Carolina, and he always tells me about his friend from Malaysia. Wonderful guy in Malaysia, wonderful guy. And then so when I was talking to him, I told him, "How do you feel? You have two Muslim friends, me and then this other friend. How do you feel about it?" He said, "Omar, really, really, they opened up the doors for me. I really am open minded now. So this his friend of mine, his is let him sleep in his place, seeing his family, and so those are the kind of Muslims who are real, who are really helping people out and really showing the world what they really are. And so that stereotype needs to go away from the news and the TVs and all that, and the TV shows that they're showing. But yeah, so then let's talk about a little bit about the Christianity. It was just a thought. Why Christianity? Why not Buddhism? Not Judaism? Not anything else? But why did that thought come? Is it because of the actions of people?
A couple of things actually. Number one,
Let me
my
get let me talk.
sorry.
The lights. Let me get the light here while you talk. Okay,
Okay.
there you go.
Um,
I can clear it
Number
now.
one is
I'll,
that
I'll, I'm gonna go ahead and trim that part. That's why it's recorded. Go ahead.
it's okay. Two things made me consider leaving Islam and going to Christianity
Yeah.
specifically instead of any other religion is because my mom, she was what they call Episcopalian, Methodist, something something. In all basic terms, she was a Christian by birth. And I was like, well, trying my dad's religion was painful because of his trauma on me. So maybe I'll try mom's religion. I might make out better. Maybe that won't be painful. I don't know. It was just
Uh-huh.
in a like self discovery, self exploration type soul searching phase.
Yeah.
And the second reason was because I love to sing, you know. I
Uh-huh.
loved the Christian worship songs, but
Yeah.
I would never put the religious in them of, oh, Jesus this, Jesus that, alayhim salam. I
Yeah.
would be like, okay, replace the word Jesus, alayhim salam, with God, Allah, and like have a universal concept of the song. But I was like, I know there people are gonna like frown upon me for being Muslim but singing Christian worship songs, it's like hypocrite, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And then I was like, how can I sing these songs and not be Christian? Hmm.
Ah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah. So you knew kind of at that point the importance of Isa alayhi salam and how he is and sort of that and how the Christians perceive him and how where did you learn about that from your mom? What Christians believe?
For my mom is that she believed that Jesus alayhi salam was so-called the son of God. But in
Yeah.
Islam, as you know, Allah doesn't have any sons, daughters, any children of his own. He didn't so-called begot anyone.
Mm.
So that was a definitely like a conflict of Islam says no, Christian says yes.
Yeah, exactly. So at that age, what age did you realize that? What age were you?
I always knew it growing up, but like in I would say 2015, 2016
Yeah,
was when I really had that moment of I might change, I might not. Like I was on the fence.
yeah.
And my dad, even through all his trauma on me, made me promise that I would never leave Islam.
Uh huh.
And I was going to break that promise because of the pain of the trauma. Only because of that. And something in my heart kept me saying, I can't leave Allah. Even though these trauma memories are painful, I have to face them and deal with them because I can't leave Allah.
Wow, amazing. Subhanallah. That's amazing. So you
Allah.
had that in you. It's the fitra they call it inside of us in the beginning. Where the babies believe in that they have the God inside them, but it's what the parents teach you and the influence from society and TV or whatever it is, and then that will change your perspective. But you had that in you, and that's a little bit of that. So you can say a small percentage. Thank to your dad that he actually put that in you, not to change your religion to anything else. That's more, even though you had that bad past and the trauma, but still, you have that thinking about it. So that's amazing. That's amazing that you had that. So then you said you broke away from college, and then you went back to school on that. But then you had some issues with family kind of thing. But how was when did you say you officially were fully practicing and aware of the five pillars and all that? The shahada, the praying, the fasting, the zakat, and also the hajj. When were you officially aware that these are something that I have to do? They're important. We can't leave them. What age were you at? What stage in life?
I don't know what age, but it was about 2005, 2006 ish.
Yeah,
I wasn't in college anymore at the time.
yeah.
Um, my dad and I were homeless, living in the car because of his divorce. A
Uh,
lot of stuff going on. And I was like, I know this is what we're supposed to do, but right now, we don't even barely have food most days. We're living in a car, we're sitting in the park, we're trying to get jobs. It was rough.
oh well.
Um, I got my first job as a housekeeper, then as a gas station cashier. Then after that, I don't know what I did. We were still living in the car. Then I worked at a call center. I got my first call center job in 2006, 2009, something like that. I hated it, but hey, it was some money coming in. We could buy food, right?
Yeah,
And then, alhamdulillah, a little bit counts, right? So
yeah.
then from there, I was aware we had to do those things, but I was like, I'm trying to learn about these things, but my dad's not even doing them.
Uh,
Isn't he, as the father and the leader, supposed to be the example for me?
yeah.
But
Right.
he wasn't. So fast forward to, I would say, 2011, 2013, somewhere in there. I told him, hey, Dad, we're supposed to pray 5 times a day. I've never seen you pray. You might do it in your bedroom with the door closed. I don't know, but I've never seen you pray. He said, you're right. We're supposed to pray 5 times a day. And then I was like, when you pray, what do you say? I know there's certain movements, but what do you say? And then we started learning. He started teaching me like certain things you say, like in certain positions of like, first you're standing in a ruku, then you have to bow a little bit, like halfway down, and then you get back up, and then you do your sujood, bowing down with your forehead on the ground.
Yeah,
Certain positions with certain wordings that goes along with it, and so many times repetitions. And
Yeah.
you do that. Certain prayers calls for certain ones, certain other prayers certain other times of the day calls for slightly different or slightly one or two more rakahs, for example. And that's how I started to actually practice physically doing my prayers, to getting my dad back to doing it, and we did it together.
Oh
And
wow.
then the verbal and emotional abuse came back,
Mm,
even while I was trying to teach him how to teach me how to pray, if that makes sense.
yeah.
He was verbally abusing me about other things, controlling and all this other 9 yards. And those are the painful memories that set in, and then I stopped for a while.
You
I
stopped
didn't
drinking.
pray, I didn't fast, I didn't do anything. I just stopped. And that's when, I hate to be heavy on the emotions here, but I'll be honest. In 2014, 2015, I was suicidal.
Mm,
I didn't
wait,
want to live, never mind pray.
mm,
And then I went back home to my mom. She got me in emergency therapy. And then, fast forward to a year or two later, I did the online dating thing and met my husband. We got engaged, we got married, and my life's been happier ever since. Alhamdulillah.
that's awesome. That's interesting. You and your dad were debating about the prayer. Did he go to Friday prayer by any chance? Did he ever mention that?
I don't know that he did. We used to just pray at the house.
Yeah.
We had this one little bedroom where we had a clean space and we would do the prayers there. He would lead the prayers and we
Uh,
would do them. But
uh,
other than that, I don't know that he went to the physical Friday prayers.
yeah.
Once or twice we did where they had like, but not regularly, not every week, once or
Yeah.
twice where they had like the police blocking the road or something, because on one side of the road it was the mosque and a school and like the whole thing, it was like an Islamic school and everything,
Uh,
basketball courts. It was a really big fancy setup.
where was that? Pennsylvania? Where was this?
That was in first it was Panama City, but then the second one, the really big one with the basketball courts and everything, that was in Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, Florida.
And
Got it. Okay.
St. John's Bluff Road or something like that, if I remember correctly.
I
They
see.
had one side of the road was the mosque, the school, everything, basketball courts, you name it.
Oh
Then the
wow.
other side was just an empty lot where we would park. So we would park
Ah,
across the street and
yeah.
walk over across the road
Yeah.
to go pray. Well,
Yeah.
the cops stopped the traffic and everything so we could safely cross. And
Yes.
I remember that, and we did that a couple times, but like not every week.
For Friday, you would go sometimes. Yeah. That's good. That's good that you went with him and he would pray with you at home. That's interesting how that worked out. Sometimes that. Yeah. Continue, please.
And then when I met my husband in 2016, we got married in 2017. Alhamdulillah, it was like the best day of the rest of my life. And now I have always prayed through this whole journey. I've always prayed, Allah, please send me a good man, a good Muslim, a good leader for my faith, my deen, Islam, and for my family. If we have any children in the mix, I don't have any yet, but who knows, Allah knows,
Inshallah.
that a leader and a teacher for them, a merciful, gentle way, the direct opposite of how my dad was with me and with my brother, with my sisters growing up. The merciful way of, we'll teach you. If it takes you 80 times to get it, okay, fine, that's fine. We're still going to be patient with you. We're going to be merciful. We will guide you the right way, give you the right advice, give you the encouragement that you need, the mercy that you need, and you will learn it, inshallah, shwiya ashwiya, little by little. And that has been the best thing in my life, because not only for my deen, but for like solving problems. I used to be so worried with anxiety and fear of everything that my husband helps me, mashallah, subhanallah, overcome the what if and worry syndrome, to
Yeah.
turn it into reframing my mindset as a problem solving. Oh, how can I solve this problem? Is it something that I can fix myself, or someone in our community can help us? Or if not, guess what? Leave it to Allah. That's what du'as are for. That's what prayers are for. And that would take my anxiety away. And then I
Amazing.
would be peaceful. I would be happy instead of depressed.
Wow. Subhanallah. That's amazing. So the app, you met your husband. Was he practicing it when you met him? Was he praying all the prayers at the time when you met your husband?
At the time, he was really young, mashallah.
He
There's
was what?
10 years age difference between us, so he was really still a youngster and barely out of
Oh, he
school.
was younger than you. He was younger than you?
Yes,
Oh, I see. Okay.
barely out of school. And I still remember to this day is that we were saying, "Oh, salam alaikum, my brother. Salam alaikum, my sister." We had no idea we were gonna get married at first until we were started talking several months later and was like, "Oh, by the way, my mom wants me to get married. By the way, um, I need a husband." And then it just happened. SubhanAllah.
He's like 10 years younger than you. Is that what you said? He just finished college or high school at the time when you
He
met?
just it just been a couple years outside of high school and
Interesting.
um didn't know what he was going to do with his life, but he knew that his mom was like, "Oh, why don't you get married? Why don't you get married?" And he's like, "I don't know, ma. It's just not me. I don't see myself being married, whatever." But
Yeah.
then we met on this online dating site, and first we were like brother and sister, and just like sister and Dean, brother and Dean.
Yeah.
We bonded over like music and other things that we our hobbies that we liked,
Yeah.
and we just kept talking to each other, and it just came naturally, I guess.
Interesting. Then he happened to be live in the same area as you, right? It's just
No, no.
different.
I was in Florida with my mom at the time, and he was in Pennsylvania with his sister,
Interesting.
and his mom and dad are in Morocco still, but
Oh, wow.
his mom was like, "Oh, you should get married, you should get a wife."
Oh, wow. Interesting.
He
So,
didn't
but
even have any idea that he was gonna get married.
amazing. And then, so when you get married and all that, the harmony was good, and then the Islam
Mhm.
was good. That it kind of grew the Islam. So,
Yes.
so then he kind of helped you in growing on that.
Yes.
It has, if your dad is still around, has your relationship with him any improved or any change, or he's been cut off? If you don't mind.
Mm, he's been cut off at the recommendation of my therapist,
Yeah. Yeah.
and all of our family has done the same and cut off from him.
Yeah.
Not only that, I tried to keep the peace afterwards just to follow up on emails.
Yeah.
Every email I had for him, he has blocked me.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah.
So with
That's
that,
good for that. Yeah.
I make the peace the only way I know how, which is leave him to Allah.
Exactly. That's the thing. You do what you can.
Mhm.
We've all had those weird situations in our lives where you wonder why it goes away, but it's, you remember, it's not you, it's them. They have that issue thing, and you always wonder, is it me? Is it me? And then we've always thought about that. And then the more you grow, the more you know people, the more you have more friends, the more those people become ants. Yeah? They become something. So it doesn't really matter. So that's amazing. So that's an interesting story. We're almost going to end here. You grew up about knowing about Islam here and there, words, and then kind of your father was giving you some words about don't leave Islam. You started learning here and there. When did you officially, like, after you got married? Did you actually study? Did you learn stuff, or it was all still wishy-washy kind of thing? Did you learn like the Islamic information, the correct stuff like that after you got married, or no?
Yes, my husband, mashallah, has been an amazing leader for
Yeah,
my deen, for our family, for our marriage, and has taught me more than I've learned anywhere else because that's one thing I always pray to Allah. Please send me a husband that's going to be a good leader and a good teacher, good example for my deen.
you did do
And
that.
he gave
Yes,
me just that. He gave me just that because
amazing.
my husband teaches me about the Sunnah, about the five daily prayers, about the pillars of Islam, about anything and everything he's ever known about, or even stuff he learns and we learn it together. He
Yeah.
teaches me everything. And then I teach anybody I know. And God willing, inshallah, we're going to have kids one day. We will teach them. And, or even my nieces and nephews and his nieces and nephews, we're teaching them now.
I mean, so does he all go to Friday prayer?
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
that helps definitely. Like we do.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, I don't know what happened, but my mom was like, "You guys should go," and told my dad, "You should go." I mean, we had no idea, so we just googled some mosque in the area. We found some. We're originally from the Bosnian Balkans area, and so we happened to just find an Albanian mosque. So they called it Greenway Mosque, and it was just like a house that they bought. They had like theater seats in the front, and we didn't know what it was. We just walked in there, and it was like so weird. And I was like, "Oh wow, what is this now?" Like we started learning and something. My parents were like, "Oh, say salam alaikum," this kind of thing. But we didn't really, because we grew up here in America. When I was 10, we went to like a Sunday school. And we would be with the gatherings and the Eid and stuff like that. But we didn't really know what. But we were 10-year-old. We didn't even care what religion was, kind of thing. But then it's amazing, how coming to America you find religion, and then you born here, you find religion, you find Islam when you would expect to find the opposite. They always say if you have a good heart, God loves you. He would guide you to the truth. God loves you. It looks like, and then He guided you. He gave you a good husband. The dua worked, and then helped you out. And so, what advice as we're ending here? Appreciate you to share your story. Everybody has the story, and then you're an interesting sister. What advice do you have for people seeking the truth or trying to figure out? We have a lot of people right now wishy-washy. Some people don't care about religion. Some people care about religion. It's 2025. They all just want to watch social media. They want to be on their phones, on YouTube. But what if there's that one person who's curious? What do you recommend for them? What advice do you have to anybody?
First, don't believe anything you see in the news. Stop watching the news. Stop reading the news because
Right.
it's 99%
I agree.
lies.
Yeah,
Don't believe it.
that's true.
If you want to know about any faith, no matter what religion you're curious about, or even if you want to learn about all of them, stop into a place of worship for that given faith. Talk to the leader there, the imam, the priest, the rabbi, whatever. They're going to be the expert usually on that faith and give you the real information. Don't believe what's in the news. They're all lies.
Amazing, amazing. That's good. And then from there, everyone can decide on
Mhm.
what is the right faith on that. And so, but for you, you always knew there was a God. There was a one God. So it wasn't something like you just thought about changing because of how people treated you.
Right.
But try to follow the guidance. There's one creator, and then everybody can believe in that. There's a creator who creates everything, and see what the right path is for you, right?
Hmm.
Like Christianity, they believe that man is a God and who died and then became risen up and became on the cross, and that's why a lot of people wear the cross. And is that logical to you guys? So people look at it. I'm talking about the audience here. Look at that. Is that logical to you? Can that be? A lot of people have been brainwashed and then thinking that and then it can't be changed. It's all mental. Like if we're used to checking our phones in the mornings, we're used to that, and we say it's a habit. But then it's like smoking. If we smoke every day, is that really good for us or bad for us? Or drinking alcohol? Think you have to think about it. Where is that coming from? Why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I praying? Why am I worshiping this or worshiping that? Anybody who's watching has to realize and think about the consequences and what am I doing? What are my actions? We all do foolish things, once in a while in our lives. And remember who it is. So appreciate you, Sister Rashida, for being on the program. Last uh, words or sentences that you might say. We might be doing more projects in the future, but yeah, what would you like to say other than that? Very wonderful story, very wonderful advice. Anything? Yeah.
That no matter what faith you have, whether it's Islam, Christianity, or even some people that don't have any faith at all, the atheist, there's one commonality that we can't deny. We're all human. We all bleed inside. Clearly, there's something or someone above all of us that made all of us. Us, the trees, the planets, everything in existence. Whether you call that God, source, higher power, whatever, it's above us. Can we do even one of the things that God has done? Can we create one of the things He's created? Of course not. Therefore, that proves God exists.
Amazing, amazing. Beautifully said there. And thank you again for being on the program. And
Thank you.
you enjoy your day. And I'm going to go ahead and end the stream right now. And actually, I'm going to say a few words for maybe. That's what I'm gonna. I just wanna do. Let me do this. Okay, so that was Sister Rashida. Amazing story that she brought for us, and we'll bring in more episodes of new people who converted or found their way to Islam, and it's more about learning and finding your true path. Remember that Allah means God, the creator of the universe. It's just an Arabic word. You can say creator, and Christian Arabs also use the word Allah. And it just we should all learn from each other. We should all learn the importance of being together in one society. It's one earth, and not time will go fast. Just learn what Islam is, learn what the other religions are, and you'll be surprised how much commonalities we have. This is host Omar. Please stick around for more episodes in the future. Thank you again for being on the program, and thank you for Sister Rashida for telling her story. Take care, guys. Bye.
Assalamualaikum.